your hand, we'll call on you. Coach, the floor is yours for an opening statement, then we'll take some questions.
Okay. First of all, we're very excited to be here, to be in my home state of North Carolina. It's pretty cool. Special, my uncle played football here. I was just telling these guys the last time I was at Cameron, I was an assistant at UConn, and Chelsea Gray was a point guard here. My niece was 6 years old. My daughter's 6 years old, so it's kind of funny how life's a full circle. But I've been telling the players since the moment that we got selected to this region and we knew we were coming here to play Oregon, that the most important thing is right now, to be where our feet are, to take full advantage of the day we have today, the media, the practice, the experience, to prepare for the game we have tomorrow, and that's it. To focus on that. The most important game of our season right now is Oregon, and we're very excited to be here. We're very excited to play. We know that we've earned this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to us playing our best basketball of the year.
Again, just raise your hand with questions, and we have a mic, front row.
Hi, Mitch Northam, SB Nation. I was just wondering, when you first recruited Michaela, did you think, what kind of impact did you think that she could have? Did you think she could turn into this quickly?
It's a great question, and it's one I get almost every day. We knew that she was special. We knew that she had the capability of impacting our program in a way that maybe we hadn't seen yet from a recruit that we had brought here, but we weren't, you're never really sure. I think the first time we realized that the year was going to be a special one was when we started our workouts in the summer, and we recognized her level of play, her confidence, and competitiveness, her will to win. Those are all variables, right? So you can tell skill and talent. You're talking to kids. You just never really know how the transition is going to go. And the way that she came into our program, elevated everybody else on the team, made everybody else better. She's still a freshman, so she still has a lot to learn. And that's important to note. But I think bringing her in and the way that she approached not only basketball, but Vanderbilt, the community, her teammates, her coaches, has elevated our standard. And so the result of that is the things that you guys are witnessing now on the basketball court, but it exists in every other area too, in the classroom, in the community, in the locker room, in our offices, in the interactions we have with our players. And that's a credit to Michaela, but also to our teammates, because they also came here to win. And she was a huge piece that we had that was missing, and we're very grateful that she's a Commodore.
Front row.
Doug Feinberg, DAP. Shea, you played in a really good conference. You coached in a really good conference back in the day in the Big East. Now you're coaching another really good conference. How much does it help prepare you guys for what you have in front of you, playing the SEC with so many good teams and so many different styles that you have to play against?
Yeah. You always have to be careful as a coach answering that question, right? Because you want to put your team and your conference and everybody in a great light. But I will tell you that from the outside looking into the SEC for so many years, you're like, they beat each other up, they do this, it's Armageddon. It is not true. It absolutely prepares you. You got to go into every game knowing that game is incredibly important for your season if you want to compete for an SEC championship or put yourself in position to compete for an NCAA championship. You have to prepare like you're playing in the Final Four every single game you play in conference. So it just, first of all, it teaches your players how to truly prepare. The way it's Thursday, Sunday, or Thursday, Monday, so that's kind of like what you see in the NCAA tournament. 2 really tough games back-to-back. You have to learn how to prepare intelligently. You have to learn how to recover intelligently. The other thing it does is it exposes you. So everything you suck at, you're going to find out from January to March, and then you're going to have an opportunity to fix it before you get to play in the NCAA tournament.
Second row.
Yeah, you've experienced March Madness a lot as a player, as an assistant coach, but now back-to-back seasons taking Vanderbilt here. What's it like being able to lead your own program to this moment?
It's awesome. I don't know that this is how I'm built. I never thought that we wouldn't be doing this. I expect us, and if we're up to me, then, I was pissed the first 2 years when we didn't get to come here. But it really isn't about me anymore, and that is a difference between coaching and playing. So when I was a player, I only got to play in one NCAA tournament. I was injured I think. Yeah, I was injured all the other ones, went to the Final Four and won a championship. But these kids, a lot of them, this is their first time. A lot of them, this is their first and their last time to be able to do something so special. Not a lot of players, not a lot of teams get to come do this. So I've won my championships as a player. I experienced this. For me, it's about making sure that our kids have the best experience possible, that they're the most prepared, and that the things that we talked about doing with them when they came here as recruits are the things that we're doing and accomplishing it, so that in 10 years they can look back and say, this was one of the best experiences of my life. It's important for me, but this is also one of the coolest things in sports ever. So I would be telling a lie if I didn't say I was super excited as a coach and a human being just to be here.
Just a reminder to the media, provide your name and affiliation. Thank you.
Jake Lyman, Vanderbilt Radio. Coach, last year it was kind of a whirlwind of 24 hours after you're selected, you're already in Blacksburg. How do you think these last couple days have given you a chance to prepare a little bit better, and how have you seen your team react since being selected?
Yeah, another step in the right direction. So we weren't in the first four, right? And that obviously gives you a leg up because you're not scrambling around. You get to rest and recover. You can prepare a little bit more. You get to be home. You get to go to class at Vanderbilt. That's important. So it's just another step in the right direction. And I know our kids are excited about it. We put ourselves in position to do this, though. And that's why the full body of work is important. That's why playing in the SEC is important, and competing to win every game is important, because you have to put yourself in position to be where we are right now. And now it's important that we focus on that only and that we take full advantage of it. So I love it. I love it for our team, and hopefully we'll continue taking those steps forward. So, in a year or two, we'll be hosting.
Again, front row.
Yeah, Michaela gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. But Camila's put up a lot of really good numbers this year for you guys. Helped you win some big games. How important is she to your success and kind of the foundation that you're trying to build there at Vanderbilt?
Thank you. It's a good question, and we do have quite a few kids who garner a lot of attention. Camilla and Michaela being two of the most, and they're our youngest players. So the cool thing about the team that we have is that you have to have a certain amount of kids that understand what they're capable of, that fill a certain role, if you will, depending on the day, and then you have to have some depth. So why Camilla is important is because the style of basketball that we play, she's a 6'2" athlete, makes us super versatile offensively and defensively, and she's really young, so all she really knows is competing. And so that's been fun to kind of help her mold her game. She's only been playing basketball for 6 years. But when you put the right pieces around her, I think Michaela's really helped her elevate her competitive mindset. And when Camille plays with a competitive mindset, we're tough to beat. When you add Michaela, when you add Ayanna Moore playing the way that she is right now, when Jordan Oliver is healthy on the floor, when we're not in foul trouble, and when we can play and stick to our identity. And that's what Camille adds to our team, right? So we have all these other great pieces as guards. We did lose Sasha Washington at the beginning of the year, which provided an opportunity and a void kind of in that post position, which isn't really Camille's natural position, but she's embraced it and become a better player. And as a result, we've become a better team.
We have time for a couple more in the room, and then we'll go to Zoom. So front row.
Doug Feinberg again, the AP. Shea, two-part question. How big is it now for the sport that you guys get the financial units that the men get? Because the time you were at UConn, you probably would have made millions of dollars at that school if there was what you have now. And the second part is all the other stuff going on in coaching now with NIL and other things that you didn't have to deal with years ago. What would make a coach want to get into coaching now? It's not just X's and O's. I mean, it's...
How long do we have? Can we just sit here for a while? Yeah.
You want me to save you? You got 3 minutes.
We might need to
go ahead.
we might need to go have a drink for this one. The first question is a really important one because now we're revenue generating, right? Now we're a revenue generating sport, and that is the goal. It's also in terms of equality, and we're decades behind the men's game in general, but as we continue to provide better basketball, to provide an entertainment experience for everybody, to elevate our game, and now we get these opportunities to earn revenue. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. And I love being part of it because, my mom, I don't know that she's in here, but she had 4 different coaches in 4 years. I think she actually drove the van to their games. And so I get to hear those stories. And I'm coaching young women who are going to come, hopefully be coaches or play in our sport at the pro level and make a living for a long time. And I have a daughter that wants to do the same. So I get to be a part of moving the sport forward. And this is a huge piece of that. It is a huge piece of that. And we've earned it. So that's why it's important. And we're continuing to move the sport forward. And laying the foundation for a better experience for those that follow us. Getting into coaching is probably much like anything else. The landscape is going to change. The world is changing. And you just have to have a passion for it and control what you can control, right? So all the craziness, and we don't really have any control over that. You do have control over where you work, for the most part, and the leadership that you work for. And that's why I would say if you're going to come to Vanderbilt, then you're in great hands. As a coach at Vanderbilt, the people that we get to work with, Candace Story-Lee, our chancellor, are invested in making sure that we're competitive in the landscape and clearing the path for the coaches so we can do our jobs well. Because at the end of the day, the job is to educate and mentor. And if you're careful, if you put winning at all costs in front of that, then you're not a coach. You're not. And so I would encourage people that are passionate about basketball and are passionate about educating and mentoring young people, because it is so important, not just for the 4 years that they're in college and they're winning basketball games or championships, but for when they leave and they have to be a productive part of society in some other role. We need them to be ready for that. We need that. So we need coaches to want to get in. And it's one of the main reasons that I chose the leadership position, so that I could provide that experience not only for my staff, but for my players. And if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be honoring the people that did it for me. And so I would say that it is the greatest profession in the world to me, but make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and that you're doing it with and for the right people.
Second row for our last question from the room, and then we will be going to Zoom.
Yeah, you had just mentioned Ayanna Moore, too, and at the SEC tournament, you were saying that she's playing some of her best basketball right now. How important is she to your all success, especially going into March, where she also experienced this kind of moment last year?
Yeah, you asked and almost answered the question right there. It's important because she has been here before. You know, losing Sasha hurts right now because Sasha experienced this. Jordan Oliver has experienced this, but Ayanna Moore is a huge piece of our veteran leadership, and being able to have her calm and poised and collected and playing a high level of basketball right now calms everybody else down on our team and provides kind of a, hey, this is the direction we're going, leadership voice on the basketball court. And, you know, those of us that have been doing this a long time know that player-led teams, they go a lot further and they're going to accomplish a lot more because you got to have that belief on the court. And then you have to have the intensity that it takes to compete in March. And she knows both of those things. She's been there before. She also knows what got in our way last year when we lost to Baylor. So her playing the way that she is right now with the voice that she has is an incredible piece of what we're hopefully able to accomplish in March.
So we're going to head to Zoom for our final question, Coach. Connor?
Hi, Coach Ralph. Connor Campbell, Vanderbilt Hustler, still on campus. I leave this afternoon. You have been in the tournament last year. You missed it the first 2 years. For you and for the returning players such as Ayanna Moore, what was last year's experience like, and how do you think that it's going to guide you to this run?
Last year was a great experience, number one, because it was a step in the right direction. But I think if I could define it very transparently for all of you guys, I think it was more of a, we're happy to be here kind of feeling. We're very happy to be here. We were ecstatic to get in. We were not sure if we were going to get in or not. We got into our first 4 game, and we were happy to be there. And we beat a very good Columbia team. But then about midway through the third quarter, I think the kids on the bench and on the court realized that we had not prepared for the moment against Baylor, that we just didn't have enough to win that game. And I think it taught us a very valuable lesson, not only about, preparation in March, but preparation in June, July, and August. And the mindset that you have to be a championship team. So both sides of those are true. We were very happy to be there. We were excited to be in the NCAA tournament, but I think it taught us a valuable lesson to be better prepared for this year.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. I think